We appropriate far more than we generate in locally generated property tax revenue to the law enforcement system. And so theoretically and reflected in the budget, we're going to say in the future that 100% of the dollars that are generated through tax revenues in Josephine County are allocated to law enforcement. I think it was a question a constituent posed to Commissioner DeYoung that got me thinking, it's like, where does all your 58 cents per thousand go? How is it appropriated in a pie chart in Josephine County? It could very easily be illustrated that 100% of that, of the discretionary funds that we allocate, is already dedicated to law enforcement and will continue to be so in the future.
What you were saying about how we could do a pie chart showing that all of the property taxes went to public safety. We have on page 10, we have a pie chart that shows the allocation of the property taxes. And then we also have on the public safety page, on page 1, it shows all the revenues to public safety. $2.5 million come from the general fund, and the rest all come from other sources of revenue. So I'm not sure how we could have a pie chart saying that.
It's not complicated. So the Secure Rural Schools appropriations in the past have been right around 4.5. This one is 2.3. We allocate way more than the 4.1 out of the discretionary dollars right now. And so all of that could be said to becoming, it goes into a general fund pool so that you're pulling out a Secure Rural Schools, a shared receipt, or a property tax generated dollar isn't specified. And so that pie chart could very easily reflect 100% appropriation of the locally generated tax revenues being dedicated to law enforcement.
That sounds a little disingenuous to me.
It's 100% accurate and true. In fact, it might be a falsity to say that it's being done a different way.
So what we've been reporting in the budget for all these years has been false?
No, it's just the prioritization. It's back to Mr. Hunker's point about what pool of money you're actually, of the discretionary, appropriating first. And really, if you go as a reflection of the prioritization, where we go first for funding, it is law enforcement, and it is very easily argued that all of that comes out of starts from the locally generated tax base. That's the permanent revenue that we know about. Secure Rural Schools or shared receipts has a tendency to fluctuate, as everybody knows, dramatically. That's not a guaranteed revenue stream or consistent. Revenues from property taxes are. So much like implementing the trust for a prioritization for something that transcends the ups and downs, that's where I would advocate saying that all of the locally generated tax revenue at $4 million, when I took office, it was around 3.5. So it doesn't go up very much every year.
As we've seen, that the general fund budget doesn't fluctuate nearly as much as the public safety budget does.
That's because it's been dependent on outside revenues.